Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. We talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm Roche Jeffrey. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our video. Just when you thought things couldn't get any better for the Duke Blue Devils in their 2024 recruiting class, things just got better for the Duke Blue Devils in their 2024 recruiting class because top international prospect, I'm going to try to pronounce his name correctly, five-star center Khaman Maluach just committed to the Duke Blue Devils. Duke's recruiting class was already stacked, and I didn't think they were going to really be able to add anybody else to the class because basically every position that they could possibly need was filled. But you know what? That is not the way the Duke Blue Devils roll. Jon Scheyer is just continuing what Coach Mike Krzyzewski had been building at the Duke Blue Devils, bringing in talent year after year and loaded recruiting classes, kind of like John Calipari does at the Kentucky Wildcats. But Jon Scheyer's 2024 recruiting class might top all of the previous classes that Duke's ever had, and that's saying a lot because we saw the Zion Williamson, Cam Reddish, RJ Barrett year. Duke's recruiting class the past couple years have been stacked as well, but this 2024 class is going to be absolutely insane. I'm going to go over Duke's 2024 recruiting class and how important of an addition Khaman Malauch could end up being for the Duke Blue Devils. Now, a little bit of a backstory on Khaman Malauch. He is from Africa. He was born in South Sudan, and now he's playing for the NBA Academy in Africa and Senegal. And there's been a few other guys that have come out of the NBA African Academy and have had a lot of success. But they're saying Khaman Malauch is better than all of the other guys that have ever played for NBA Academy in Africa. And a big reason why Khaman Malauch is such a fantastic player and why he is rated as a five-star center and one of the best players in the 2024 recruiting class is because of the fact that his length is absolutely off the charts. He has a standing reach of 9'8". So he's a 7'2" center, but his standing reach is basically almost to the rim at 10 feet tall, which is absolutely insane. His standing reach is higher than Victor Wembanyama and Rudy Gobert when they entered the NBA. That is absolutely unbelievable. And the thing about Khaman Malauch is he has a lot of skills to his game. He's a competent shooter, as the scouting report says, and an emphatic finisher who displays coveted versatility defensively, covering ground on the perimeter and blocking shots with excellent timing. And Khaman Malauch has stated himself that he studies a lot of bigs in the NBA, and there's a lot of guys that you can pay attention to. Chet Holmgren, Victor Wembanyama, Giannis Antetokounmpo, all of these guys display so many different skills, and Khaman Malauch, he shows flashes of many different stars in the NBA, and the Duke Blue Devils are now adding him to their 2024 roster, and they obviously have the #1 recruiting class, and it's not even close. They already had Cooper Flagg committed, who's a 6'9" small forward, and he is the #1 ranked player in the 2024 class. I actually made a video talking about Cooper Flagg's commitment to the Duke Blue Devils and saying already then that Duke's recruiting class was absolutely stacked, and they're going to be a dangerous team in 2024-2025, but lo and behold, I didn't know that the Duke Blue Devils were not done. They also have Isaiah Evans, who's a top 15 small forward. Con Newpol is a 6'5" small forward who's ranked at number 17 as well. So they have 3 small forwards in their class. Then they have center Patrick Nganga as well, who's 6'11", so he might be coming off the bench behind Khaman Malauch. Then they have another small forward who's 6'6", that was ranked as a 4-star in Darren Harris. And now they're adding a 6th player to this stacked recruiting class in Khaman Malauch. And the only caveat I could see for the Duke Blue Devils having all of this freshman talent is now in the era of the transfer portal and so many guys staying in college basketball into their junior and senior season. Having all of these freshmen could be an issue for the Duke Blue Devils. Maybe the team won't be able to gel and they won't be able to have too much success, kind of like how we've seen Kentucky struggle the past few seasons. But even this year, Kentucky's doing a whole lot better with talented freshmen like Reed Shepherd and Robert Dillingham because they also have Antonio Reeves and Trey Mitchell, who are older guys. So maybe for the Duke Blue Devils, if they can get a guy like Jeremy Roach to come back for another season, maybe that will give Duke enough experience to be able to offset all of this freshman talent. Maybe they can get another guy on the transfer portal like a Ryan Young, who's no longer going to be with the program next year because he's going to be out of eligibility. Ryan Young's been a very solid addition for the Duke Blue Devils the past few years. Kyle Filipowski, I don't really see him coming back, especially with all of this talent coming in at the forward and center position. But Kyle Filipowski has been a good player for Duke the past couple seasons. But Khaman Malauch is just an absolutely ridiculous addition for the Duke Blue Devils because not only did Duke already have the #1 recruiting class stacked with all these 5-stars, but Khaman Malauch himself is just a fantastic talent. He's going to be in the NBA. NBA in the 2025 draft. He's only 17 years old right now, but he will be eligible for the 2025 draft. By the time it comes, he will be old enough. And with all the skills that he has already showcased so far, being able to block shots, being able to shoot a little bit as well, it's definitely going to help propel him to a top spot in the 2025 NBA draft. Someone tweeted out as well for Duke, one of the most talented front courts at Duke ever, and I absolutely agree. Cooper Flagg is a ridiculous player coming out of high school. He's going to be a one and done, probably a top 5 pick, and then now you add Khaman Maluach to the Duke Blue Devils, and then you have Patrick Nganga coming off the bench. It's absolutely insane how stacked Duke's front court is going to be. I did laugh at this tweet somebody posted earlier. They said Rutgers and Duke versus the field. Cooper Flagg, the number 1 player, is committed to Duke, and then you've got Ace Bailey, the number 2 player, committed to Rutgers, and then number 3 is Khaman Maluach, and then at number 4 you've got Dylan Harper, who's also going to the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. So Duke and Rutgers have 2 of the 4 top players in the 2024 recruiting class, which is kind of crazy to see Rutgers there. Steve Pikiell's done a really good job, but I cannot say enough about how well the Duke Blue Devils are recruiting. I think a lot of people thought there was going to be a drop-off after Mike Krzyzewski was no longer the head coach, but that hasn't been the case. Duke's NIL is in great shape, their fan support is in great shape, and Jon Scheyer has been able to spend all of that together to keep continuing the pipeline of 5-star players wanting to commit to the Duke Blue Devils, and not just in America, guys from overseas as well. Khaman Maluach, one of the most talented bigs to ever come out of Africa. He's going to be an absolute beast in college basketball. With his length, he's going to be blocking shots all over the place. He's going to make it so difficult for guys to score, and if he can mesh and figure out the college game next to talented guys like Cooper Flagg, and if Duke can get a Jeremy Roach type of player back or get a really good guard in the transfer portal next season that has experience, Duke could end up being one of the best teams in college basketball next year, and possibly an even better team than they have been this season. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about 5-star center Khaman Maluach committing to an already loaded Duke recruiting class, and whether you believe that Khaman Maluach is going to adjust easily to college basketball and he's going to be a top draft pick in 2025, and whether you believe that Jon Scheyer will be able to mesh all of this freshman talent together and possibly get an experienced player or 2 in the portal to help make Duke one of the best teams in the 2024-2025 season. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Like this video down below. Follow me on Twitter as well. Link is in the description, and I will see you next time.